the map right now. Looking at just over a 1k gold lead for the side of TAS. Nothing huge yet. They do have that dragon on their side, but they do have the scaling with this Vayne, with this Irelia. It's going to be about how Church of Alfonso can try and find the way back in with the engage that they have with this Ashe and with the Diana.
Absolutely. So far, we've seen Team Ace take this early game, but LTY landing a nasty hook. Exhaust goes down on Nagua, running for his life, but there will be none to be found. Dark Passage just being a menace up in the red side, red jungle, and they're going to find V-Try onto the Krugs. It is 1v3 to start this fight out, but Red Kane is so tanky, and the Wild Growth is there. V-Try doing so much damage with the Crescent Slash. Teleport is going to come in from his main, and Cold Blaster is in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, manages to get the ulti down into the Ashe ultimate on top of the double kill, immediately picked up for Betray. So much damage out of that Red Kane, and we were these team fights. If the main carry, if the person who's still alive is not making sure those little health bars, I say that what a hook from LTY. Does decide to take it into the fog of war. 3v3. There's the Diana going into the middle. Surely the ultimate will come out, but it's not quite available. There's the Ashe ulti on top to slow down his mate. It has used the unstoppable force, but Gua goes down. LTY now in the middle, trying to slow down this menace of a Kane, but there's no healing reduction there to slow him down anymore. RHC now at the threat. Veshiwap, I believe, yes, getting completely jumped on. K1 trying to chase him down. Onbo trying to be the one to slow down Veshiwap, but there's no way. Hismay taking a fight against RHC that has gone poorly, and Onbo there to support. Instrumental this game has been to them, and Hismay happy to take up the hook. Just sitting there, gets the Guardian proc. Cold Blaster trying to find his way out. Betray walking in. There's the Showstopper straight into the wall there, so the damage is immediate, but Cold Blaster go down so fast. Veshiwap with that double shutdown has no option. There's so much more gold than that on Betray, and there's so much more gold than that on TAS as they walk down the Nexus. It was a valiant defense, but that is game. Welcome along, everybody. We're here, match point. TAS versus Church of Alfonso, and this set has been shockingly close. Very good back and forth so far. Wins going back and forth a piece. Now Church of Alfonso obviously has to take this win to keep their playoff hopes alive. I'm here with War Leader.
And we are getting right into this draft once again. Asorth going to take away Gangplank and Zach. Azir and Graves going down from Church of Alfonso. These are the early bans. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen here, as Asorth does ban the Ashe, and I think that's a really good call. Church of Alfonso have showed that it is a pick that they are really comfortable with, and I think it stuffs a lot of the short-range champions that Gua likes to play, like Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Kai'Sa first pick. That's again, like they seem to be, the TS seems to be willing to just pick up what they want, and the Vayne for counter immediately. Now that is something that was used earlier in Season 11 to try and bring down Kai'Sa when she was an unstoppable menace. I don't think the matchup's that good now because Kai'Sa's able to just wave clear, but you do have the scaling advantage in that lane with the protection of an Alistar. I actually like that first round to just grab those two options, and the Swain picked up presumably for Onbo, we're looking like a kill lane bot lane.
Absolutely.
No.
No! What are we looking at?
Okay, so okay, I need a minute to process. Okay, that could be for Betray. That could also be for Hismay in the mid lane. They take the Jarvan to try and lock down. Obviously, physical barriers are a good way to deal with the Mastery. Can't be slowed, can be stunned and whatnot, can be knocked up. So it's going to be good for getting Alistar off. Or excuse me, for using Alistar to get E off. I'm just astonished that we're seeing it, especially in first round. We need to see some bans to take that away and make it possible. But TAS saving some things for playoffs, apparently. And here comes Master Yi.
Yeah, and suddenly my eyes go to, where's the Yuumi? Where's the Taric? Why is there a Swain? I mean, normally when you pick something so, I don't know, volatile like a Master Yi, you go straight to a pick that it really enables that Master Yi. That gives it the protection it needs to get off the ground. This usually comes from the support role. And Swain is not the answer.
Yeah, and obviously that Swain could be flexed. It's not necessarily locked into that bot lane at the moment, as we do see the Lissandra, another option to try and shut that down. Twisted Fate looking like the option right now for Hismay, and I really like that for being able to create pressure around the map, give them vision of stuff going into objectives. That is a good option. It could not going to be necessarily locked down, and I like Kennen here. This is a very go-in composition from the side of TAS, and they knew what they wanted. This was a fast draft from TAS. They did not spend much time on it, and the Jack's looking like the counter pick for Cold Blaster. And yeah, they're just going to lock it in. Wow, okay, what are we looking at here? What a odd composition from TAS. Really, like, they have the option for this Master Yi, this Kai'Sa, to take over the game, but they have to get through an Alistar. They have to deal with the Sejuani, or excuse me, not the Sejuani, the Lissandra. It could be really problematic. I think Church of Alfonso has really just given themselves a better dice roll, but if it falls on the side of TAS ever, it's not winnable.
Yeah, as we get into the game here, we're gonna have to see how it shakes out. Church of Alfonso, I think, has better fundamentals within their composition to shut down the volatile composition that Asorth have made for themselves. But if we know anything about TAS, they are volatile. They love to play that way. They love to roll that way. You studied it. They were made in it, molded by it. And they're here to show you that Master Yi and FOF is the play.
And what a play for match point. This is such an aggressive option. Betray obviously will scale to the point where it's very challenging to deal with him. But I like the options. It's such an early pick in the draft to take that Master Yi. And I like that the Jax and the Lissandra were then followed up to deal with it. Now, K1 walking into the bush. You do not win this, especially if you start Q. You want to start E on that cannon for the attack speed and the movement speed. Just keep yourself zoned away. Instead, is going to decide to chase down Cold Blaster. Reinforcements from Paytime is on the way. It's just a short little trade at level 1. Nothing huge. Does look like he's hunting a little bit more, but it's such a potential advantage here on the side of Church of Alfonso, just that they knew that Master Yi was coming in so early, and now it's going to be up to this TF to actually play the jungler's job, get into those lanes, and the people picking up the kills is just going to end up being Master Yi.
Absolutely. And Lissandra and Jax as picks both serve to shut down the Master Yi. I'm really confused why they would pick Master Yi in the first round. It's not going to get banned, but it's the game we're in now as K1CZ finding a little more poke early game onto Cold Blaster. Mid lane should be a snooze fest, a CS practice, if you will. So far, Lissandra is winning that CS practice.
My favorite.
Should be pretty passive lane in the middle lane, but what's not a passive lane is this bot lane that I imagine starting at level 2 is going to get dicey.
And the passive mid lane is going to suit Hisme. Obviously, you get so much more CS. So basically, every wave, you're up an extra CS as Twisted Fate. Yeah, you get those leads just automatically, just from CSing. You can be down a little bit and you're still up. It's very counterintuitive, but getting those extra little bit of gold from every one of those dice rolls on his passive gets him ahead very nicely. Now it's going to be, like you say, up to pressure in the bot lane. These mid laners are going to equalize. There's going to be a little bit of contention over crabs potentially, but it looks like these junglers have, avoided one another in these early stages, as they have been throughout the rest of the series pretty much. And yeah, I think we're just going to be looking at these two side lanes to see which one's going to break first.
And I think what's going to be the breaking point is probably going to be Paytime on this Jarvan. Jarvan is a champion known for making noise in the early game, and we see him pathing towards the bot side. Do they see him going for the flank? They do, but it doesn't matter. LTY is already in with a pulverized headbutt combo. Ignite down onto Gua, but LTY taking so much damage so fast. Flash forward for Gua, flash out from LTY, and it's going to be the Swain auto attack that picks it up. But Dashuop and Paytime are here, going to find Gua first. Will Onbo be able to get out? No, flash means that Paytime's gonna grab that.
Yeah, no, and good kills, and that's important. They shove this wave in. They're going to get that XP away from Gua and away from Onbo. Really good play early from that Jarvan. LTY taking just a little bit too much damage and immediately getting taken out of the fight and also taken down for first blood. So it's not awful for TAS, but it's really, like, a good trade back for the side of Church of Alfonso.
LTY's pathing to the top side, and this means that B-Try going for a cheeky invade is actually going to be pulverized. Oh my goodness, how do you get out of this one? The support in the mid lane slowly chipping away at Master Yi, but Hisme is now here to back him up, but so is Paytime. Both jungle, mid, and the support from the side of from Church of Alfonso are here, and they will take out the Twisted Fate. Now, we talked about earlier how Twisted Fate was going to act like the jungler in this game, but this isn't quite what I meant, going down for his jungler. Instead, B-Try caught recalling in an aggressive position and going to give over another kill, this one to LTY.
Yeah, and that is quick gold, and a solo kill in the top lane. Quick gold over to the side of Church of Alfonso. We are going to go back and see this, luckily. All that chaos going down to the bottom side of the jungle. It looks like Cold Blaster just took advantage here, and this is not a matchup that Jack should be winning. But there it is with the flash counter-strike getting on top of Kennen, and K1 just doesn't have the ability to get that stun. And there it is. A little bit of sloppy mispositioning, not managing his cooldowns, and there it is. There's the kill picked up, and we're already 1-5 in favor of Church of Alfonso. This does not look like the team that's losing the set.
Not at all. 1.5k gold lead at less than 5 minutes for Church of Alfonso should put them in a commanding position as this game goes on. Every single member of their team has a kill, and that's not going to change. Paytime up in the top lane. Cold Blaster so low, but K1ZZ won't be able to find it. No defensive summoner spells available means going to get auto-attacked with the attack speed from that Demacian standard.
And this game that has been picked to work around the Master Yi is falling apart way too quickly for the side of TAS to feel comfortable right now. Now, obviously, they still do have the spot lane. It's not in an awful position. Does have the gold advantage. There's the trade-in immediately onto Beshiwapa. Here comes the flank from LTY. Is this where you want to be right now, though, as the cow? You're getting damage down onto Gua, but there's so much going down onto your ADC. Beshiwapa down to 150 HP. Getting pushed underneath that tower, but here's the advantage that Kai'Sa has in this lane. These waves, the wave management, specifically the wave clear. And I say that, the only person getting cleared here is going to be Betray off of that dragon, having to use the meditate to try and keep himself alive underneath the wrath of that dragon, underneath the damage from my RHC. The flash comes in with the sniper Paytime to steal, and that is kill picked up onto Gua, but the steal of the dragon just makes that a waste of time for TAS.
Oh my goodness, Paytime! What a steal coming out from the Jarvan. Going to be absolutely critical in just smashing this gold lead open with an Infernal Drake on top of it. Oh my goodness, everything's coming up COF.
Yeah, no, they're winning these trades. Obviously, the kill onto the Kai'Sa. This is kind of the lifeblood. It's weird to say that so early into the game, but this is where TAS is still surviving on this bot lane. The 1-in-1 Kai'Sa, more importantly, has that CS lead, has the extra kill onto the Lissandra now, has been winning this bot lane, and it looks like we're looking for a lane gank here, but is Betray going to be able to find his way into the bush? No. He's going to just have to back off. There's no camps on that bottom side, and he just has to reset.
Absolutely. I think he's going to opt to take the red buff before the reset because, you know, junglers always have something to do, so you have 1 million gold in your inventory. That being said, let's look across at all the... Oh, LTY looking for a Hex Flash forward. Not going to find the Pulverize. You got to hit W before Q to make that one work, but the headbutt doesn't land, and the Pulverize hits air.
Yep. Nothing happening in that bot lane so far. It should be just advantage Gua, and advantage Onbo. Just able to take this farm, able to create some baits. And it's going to be, now that we see TF at level 6, is there going to be pressure on the bot side? Now, obviously, Betray can't stay down here for too much longer. He's been on the bot side for a long time now. He's going to lose that crab on the top. And you can't afford to stay down there because it's leaving K1 out to dry. You need to get that Jax shut down. Already 2 deaths on the side of K1. It's still able to bully Jax off, which is quite crucial to make sure that there is no disadvantage in this lane. But the carry of Betray is just so far behind right now and really needs to find some accelerant to get him back.
Absolutely. And this Master Yi is so volatile, and it's volatile for a reason. So being so far down in the early game, it's going to take some kind of miracle triple kill for the Master Yi to really get into a point of power. Maybe you can leverage the fact that Hisme's now level 6 on this Twisted Fate. You gotta start looking for these side lane plays, not even just to keep your team ahead, but to keep the Master Yi in the game.
Yeah, and there is Destiny getting popped. Looking for RHC in the top lane, probably just trying to counteract the roam. They do see the Jarvan in the bot side. They are able to walk away from that gank, and now Cold Blaster looking for some kind of an engage. Now this mid laner has walked away. Pushing for TAS in the mid lane. Doesn't look like we're going to get too much. Obviously, no dragons available right now. Rift Herald has spawned, but no contention there from Betray. Jarvan's on the wrong side of the map for it. It looks like we're just going to neutralize on the ulti.
Yep, and that ulti means that Hisme knows that he was able to go for a plate, but a slight misstep up to the top means a Cataclysm is going to come down. RHC going to land that Glacial Prison, and that is going to be Hisme taken out now. The lead is mounting for COF.
And look at how Church of Alfonso has not been stunted by the previous game. That game was difficult. That game was getting run down on repeat, making good plays, and still not getting rewarded for it. This game is good plays. You're evened out now. Good plays. You're being rewarded for it. And that is so good for Church of Alfonso because they're looking so strong in the early stages of this game. 2k gold lead now. They're going to be in position for the Dragon when it spawns. They're in position for Rift Herald now. it's already looking very positive, and you have the scaling option of the Jackson, of the Vayne. It's strange to say at 9 minutes, but this is such a uphill battle that TAS needs to find a way to start hiking.
Absolutely, and I don't know where you look if you want to really start hiking that with Destiny on cooldown for what must be at least another minute. It seems like you just need to try and farm. Master Yi and Jarvan should not be this close in farm, and it's because of the early lead that COF have been getting for themselves means that Jarvan gets every Scuttle Crab, and getting every Scuttle Crab is gonna mean you build up a farm advantage. And we're seeing that Betray's pathing is a little awkward this game. He's just not being very efficient getting from camp to camp, and maybe taking too long looking for gank opportunities, maybe feeling a bit of the pressure, but I feel like we've kind of just seeing him walk back and forth a lot whenever we pan over. Cold Blaster taking a very favorable trade in that top side. K1ZZ is not having a fun time in that lane.
Yeah, no, and that is an option for them to for TAS to try and get back into this game. You get that cannon to the point where he can just one-shot teams. We've seen him do that a lot in the past couple of weeks at the professional level, and it's not hard. You go for the full damage cannon build, you drop your abilities, you're going to kill somebody. But do you ever get to that point? You're dealing with a Jax that's ahead of you right now. Does have lane control at the moment, but you know that could just give up a Rift Herald. There's the engage from Cold Blaster, not finding anything as the trade back does come, and it looks like those two are just going to be, you know, throwing some punches back and forth. But those are not winning numbers there, and what is a winning number right now is the Dragon Tape that's currently happening for Church of Alfonso.
Yeah, B-Try getting caught out, or being caught out by a ward over on that top side means Paytime knows. Easy Dragon. B-Try gonna try and counter with that Rift Herald, and I think that's a pretty good option for the side of TAS if they want to try and get some gold here.
Oh.
LTY going in with the headbutt. Pulverize doesn't land, but the Cataclysm will. And in a 3v1, Hisme is going to fall again to the 3-man tower dive.
Kind of a sloppy engage, but far from a sloppy play. Really good up, like heads-up play there from Church of Alfonso to get that Alistar into the tower. Pops ulti flashes. Doesn't get the Pulverize, unfortunately, but does headbutt him out, and that's all you really needed to do. You've got so much CC between your teammates here. I say that. There's the flash away from Betray trying to make it out with that Rift Herald and with his life, and he will. But yeah, really good play from Church of Alfonso, and we say, like, in the past, these dives are so crucial. Just kill the person, put them off the map. That is an 0-3 Twisted Fate right now. You see the Destiny come in, you don't even have to be worried.
Now, one of the things about Twisted Fate is that whenever you have a targeted stun, there is something to be feared. That being said, having some gold would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, the Jax with the Counter-Strike is also a pretty nice just counter pick into the Twisted Fate. That stun not going to be able to land if dodges the card with the Counter-Strike. So it's going to be difficult even for Hisme to find very many options in that top lane. Going to have to capitalize on K1ZZ making an opening, which so far we've seen is not able to happen. Cold Blaster doing a great job staying ahead of Kennen in this lane. As he goes in for another trade, looks like K1ZZ is actually going to trade pretty favorably on that one. Oh, looks like Master Yi has left the game. That's about how I'm feeling about TAS's chances in this one. It looks like reconnected though and got it all sorted out. Gonna head over to those Raptors. Didn't lose too much.
It's one of those requirements as a Master. You kind of just have to drop that. You know, you got to drop the disconnect right now. Keep your teammates awake. Make sure they know that I am playing Yi, and I can tilt out of this game. But no, of course, you know, just some connection issues. This is actually nothing new to TAS. So we've seen it a couple times throughout the season. Glad they have it all sorted out. And we will be, you know, proceeding to see forward how this Yi can take the game. And obviously, if this game can go to longer stages, if it can go late, the Yi's still good. The cannon's still good. Everything's still strong. It's about if you can get there. And I think right now, because you have that pushing power of the Jax, pushing power of the Vayne, you can take objectives so quickly, it's going to be really, really hard for TAS to get there. And so far, it's just going to be this uphill battle. Now, K1 doing a lot in this top side. Here comes LTY. Here comes LTY on top. Gua taken low. Here's the Cataclysm. The E doesn't come out from Vayne, but it's just too late. There's already kills going down on all sides. Another kill given over to Beshiwa. Double kill picked up. Those are both dead in the bot lane. And that just looked clinical. It looks so easy.
Yeah, we're seeing LTY making plays with X-Flash all around the map. It's what you're supposed to do with this rune. And unfortunately, the Rift Herald's going to come down right after Plates fall. Rift Herald is so effective because of the influx of gold you can get off of plates. Unfortunately, it's used a little too late. Oh, LTY going in the mid lane, going to force a flash from Hisme. Meanwhile, skirmishing up in the top lane is close, but Beatrice's not there in time to save K1ZZ. That could have been the opportunity for the Master Yi to finally pick up some gold, but not quite in the right place at the right time. Means that it's going to be another kill going over to this Lissandra, and every member of Church of Alfonso is a huge threat at this stage of the game.
Yeah, no, gold going everywhere. Church is just doing a really clinical game. This looks like their game 2. They look a lot more confident this game. Interesting being put it back on the red side. It's where they seem to want to be. And they look so confident. They're making great plays everywhere. They just need to kind of continue to make these plays, get these dragons, and actually start killing some of these turrets, because that's where they're missing a lot of the gold right now. I think the fact that they have kills on Beshi is really good. The fact that they're on paytime is even better. It's just looking so good for COF right now.
Absolutely. We see Alistar trying to find an angle onto the bot lane, but he's walking into what might be a 3v2, but it's actually a 4v2. Oh my goodness, LTY goes down so fast as Master Yi Alpha strikes onto the backline. Destiny's going to come in. Hisme is here, but damage coming out from Church of Alfonso is too much. Master Yi falls, Swain falls, Kaisa falls, and Twisted Fate has to retreat from Cold Blaster, freshly teleported in that move speed. Not quite enough to catch up to the mid laner, but another one fight for Church of Alfonso. Now, the weak in the top lane tower means K1ZZ is able to take it out. First tower of the game is a decent amount of gold to get onto your Kennen solo. So overall, it's probably about an even play across the map if you don't account for the dragon that's spawning. And with the dragon here, with Hisme caught out, going to get stunned up, knocked up, stopwatch used, but it's not going to matter. Quickly falls to that Cold Blaster Jax. It's going to mean soul point over to Church of Alfonso, just 16 minutes into this one.
And you say that the gold is pretty much even across the map on the play, and you're totally right. Gold is not even across the map in any other measure. There is such a big advantage right now. And more importantly, the advantages are exactly where you need it for COF. They've been able to get the gold onto the Vayne, been able to get gold onto Lissandra, get it onto Jarvan. It's been really good. The Jax has been making his own thing happen, and that's exactly what you need Jax to do. The kill top lane on the tower, you're right, is totally good, but there needs to be more than that. There needs to be something with this Kennen, something with this Yi. There needs to be more people participating in an effective way in order for TAS to try and find some way back in. And right now, the only thing they can really do is just take the waves that hit their turrets and clear out the wards that are in their jungle.
Yep, that's really all you can do right now. Need to find some kind of great fight opportunity. It started to look good early on in that last one, but didn't quite have the vision to know who all was there, and that makes the play all the riskier. Speaking of risky, Hisme stepping a little too far up, going to get caught by the Pulverize, by the Headbutt, by the CC that Lissandra puts out. And it's going to be Twisted Fate falling to 0-5 now, but now it's K1ZZ's turn to get a taste of the CC, going to throw down the Slicing Maelstrom over the top, so much damage coming out, and now another fight in the bot lane, Cold Blaster going in for the 1 versus 2, going to find a Kaisa, another fight breaks out in mid lane where Beshiwap takes out Betray. Oh, we're seeing fights everywhere this game, such is the way of TAS.
Yeah, and then we're keeping on that 1 kill a minute right now for Church of Alfonso. The only person to survive that mid lane fight of all people was K1 to just be able to walk away. No problem for him. Able to get out. I believe, yeah, pretty much nothing burnt outside of the ultimate. Just able to walk away. Didn't have flash available. Didn't have a stopwatch. But just walks out. No problem for me. That's very good. Betray comes in for the follow-up. And just gets shut down. Of course, the Lissandra is there. Can't take down Beshiwap. He's got that shield buff completed. 6-0 Vayne is so scary. They're trying really hard to just find some way back in. And that might be one. We're looking at multiple ways that maybe they find their way back in. The kill goes down. The great headbutt under tower. K1's sure to go down. LTY just flexing his stuff there. And they're trying desperately, TAS, to find a way back into this game. it just doesn't exist right now, and it's really rough.
Yep, I think the real thing is that TAS need to keep their heads on their shoulders, keep their heads held high. This game is probably over, but that still means you're at 2-2 Silver Streak's game point with the third seed in the league right now. B-Try going to try and find an opportunity onto Beshiwa, but that invisibility makes things so slippery. And there's 3 other members here to back up that Vayne, trying to find a miracle pick, I think is the kind of play you have to make from the side of TAS, but unfortunately, having that fail means there's so much more to lose.
Yeah, and you try to find your way back, but unfortunately the only way you can do it is through making the hole deeper, and you just have to hope that somehow you'll find your way out. Gua getting caught, but now a bigger fight under the turret. There's K1 with a huge ulti underneath the tower. Doesn't quite get anyone picked off so far. The kill does happen to the bot lane from Cold Blaster. K1 gets taken so low, so does LTY. The trade finally comes back. Hizme picks up a kill, but that is tower down. And that is more gold into the pocket of Church of Alfonso, as surely the Rift Herald will get another charge and another kill onto K1. 23 kills in 20 minutes as they take down the top inhib turret, and surely the inhib to follow. No, they will smartly back off to not funnel that gold in, and they will walk back into the jungle and just starve even more.
Yep, and that's really smart. If you take that inhibitor, you give an opportunity for the Master Yi or the Kennen to start picking up a lot of gold. But 3 different members of Church of Alfonso are taking 3 different camps from poor Betray, who will have no gold left in this topside jungle. And man, as a Master Yi, that's exactly what you need to try and get into this game. Starving those resources is exactly how you convert a lead into a win.
Oh my, another engage comes down. Betray has to try and find his way out of there, and he does successful. The ulti was popped from Beshiwa, but really that's not a big problem for the Vayne. Able to just recall, go home. No Baron being started, but the Dragon is up soon. I think, having watched these games, I think that looking at specifically games 2 and now games 3 and 4, it looks like Church of Alfonso is very solid when they're ahead, and very confused about what to do when they're behind. It looks like TAS is completely undisturbed regardless of the game state. They're still just playing the exact same way, still taking those engages that they can try and find, but they aren't far enough ahead to make it happen. They don't necessarily realize that they're down 8.5k, and that matters right now. Whereas Church of Alfonso looks so much more on their feet when they're ahead. When they have the gold lead, they know exactly what they need to do. They make all the right macro plays because you just have to take everything, and they've been able to do that really well. Now, Dragon.
Speaking of taking everything, we're looking at the Cloud Soul. It looks like TS wants to find a 5 versus 5, and with a Cannon ultimate, it is certainly possible. Destiny popped, looking for an angle. K1 ZZ's in there. Dragon goes down, Soul over to COF. Slicing Maelstrom finds 3, but the damage isn't there to follow up. Master Yi is going to drop. Cannon's going to drop. Kais is going to drop. Swain is going to drop. And finally, Twisted Fate is going to drop a clean 5-0 fight for Church of Alfonso. Taking the Soul, gonna walk over, take the Baron. Jack's gonna walk down to a side lane, probably get that inner tower. And this is the point of no return if it wasn't before.
Yeah, no kidding. Betray trying to make some sort of a play onto the backline along with K1. Just finding that engage, trying to CC down Beshiwa. But there's so much healing there, there's so much sustain, the peel is available, and they do get the engage on the Vayne, which, if the game's even, that's crucial, but it's not. There's such a huge wallet difference right now, and that was so big in turning that fight. There's the Baron, and surely the push will follow.
Yep, with the Baron buff and the Cloud Soul being the freshly claimed prize of Church of Alfonso, it should be pretty trivial to walk it right into the face of TAS with about a 12,000 gold lead at 22 minutes into the game. It will take a miracle.
This is not where that miracle starts, unfortunately. Cold Blaster jumping on top of Gua. You got no way out of there as Kaisa, especially with no flash, and there's one dropped. And now you have to try and hold down this push, missing your ADC, missing good source of your wave clear. K1 trying to, and now you're missing your other good sources of wave clear. Here goes Onbo. There's another one down. Vayne can just run you down like this. And this is what a big gold lead looks like when you're playing against Church of Alfonso. They are able to take everything off of the map. Looks like that every single lane will be shoved in. The only person yet to make it back to the base is Betray, but really, does he want to be there to see what's about to happen?
No, I mean, from maybe 15 minutes into this one, we understood how difficult it's going to be. LTY going in for the flash, pulverize, cleanse, finds nothing, and LTY is going to drop to the tower, actually. Not quite able to pick up the kill. onto his man. B-Tray getting a nice surge of gold into his inventory. We'll have to see if it's enough. Meanwhile, Church of Alfonso unfazed, pushing on, taking down the middle inhibitor. Hot shots from Kaisa are not going to be able to stop that one. Looks like Church of Alfonso are being flanked by K1ZZ, who finds an angle for a slicing Maelstrom, but drops too fast. His space pushed too far up, and this game is now going to end. Beshiwap is legendary. Going forward, looking onto the Swain, onto the Kaisa. What can they do? The answer is nothing. Paytime instantly deleting Gua on Bo, going golden inside that fountain, and it's going to keep you safe for now, but not B-Try. Trying to find a cheeky kill on the Beshiwap. The invisibility is going to keep them safe. And Church of Alfonso are going to close this one out.
They take another clean ace. They're just waiting on that mid lane inhibitor. Looks like Cold Blaster out here trying to get the 100% of League of Legends. Where has this Vayne been up until this point in the series? This has been so good, ridiculously dominant, is able to take down Gua on a champion that he's incredibly comfortable with. K1 just desperately trying to go for a desperation attempt, but we all know how this plays out. Down goes Hisme as well. Extra KDA onto Beshiwap. This is really only affecting the scoreboards at this point as the Nexus does finally go down, and we're going to a game 5.
Silver Scrapes, baby! Oh, what a bloody game. 43 kills in 25 minutes, and all but 5 of them going the way of Church of Alfonso. Man, they could not miss.
It really does look like TAS's wins are a lot more shaky. The wins that Church of Alfonso has been able to push have been way more consistent. They're taking way more towers. They're giving over fewer objectives. They're getting more kills. They're having less deaths. And I think that says something for what's been happening. But we cannot deny that every single time that a team has gotten an early lead, there has been no comeback. And that is so crucial. Pick an early game composition. Don't even go for scaling. Just pick something that'll win you the early game, because that seems to be all that teams need right now in order to pick up a win. And I'd like to see that adaptation come out of either team if they want to win this. They have a big mountain to climb, both of them. They both looked inconsistent in some ways, consistent in others. But the one thing that we do absolutely know is that we're going to be going over to a finalizing a game 5 game between both of these teams. Don't leave your chairs. This is bound to be good.
Church of Alfonso, I've mentioned that they have a mystery X factor, and that is going to be the thing that teams need to watch out for, because Paytime in the top lane, not like them, again, very similar to Jaffe in this sense, where he's not the flashiest, but definitely makes plays, especially once you move him to the mid lane. You've got RHC as well, able to flex in a couple of different directions, and then it's just overall, there's some interesting elements for them that you've really got to kind of keep your eye on. Again, we've talked about it before, though, where supports are kind of the unsung heroes, though, and Beshiwap is the one where you've really got to keep your eye out, because he's pulled out some crazy plays on Zach and Rel that just, when you look at the KDA, are kind of shocking, because you don't expect those champs to just have that big of an impact on the game, and yet he's making it happen and making it work. Keeping your eye on Beshiwap is going to be the thing that the rest of these teams really need to do.